Which side is playing who? We're hearing all this talk about the border right now. You got supposedly a trucker convoy heading down there. We're starting to see videos now of Eagle Pass, Texas, that just a half a mile down the road, there's open gates on the border, and a little further down it's open, and we all know it's open everywhere else except for this little area in Eagle Pass, Texas. So who's playing who here? What's the outcome? What's the goal of all this? Could it be where, hey, let's get them down here, let's get them fired up over this situation, and then we can instill martial law? That could be something that they could do. Also, I've asked before, why is it just now a huge deal? Why are we seeing all this right now all over everything? It's been going on for a while, but now all of a sudden it's a huge deal. If it was as massive of a deal as they're making out, Abbott's off in India, right? He's over there trying to work out some kind of trade deal or something. So, there's so much stuff at play right now, right here, that it's just not making a lot of sense. We keep hearing all these numbers, right? 10,000 illegals a day, 300 something thousand in the last month. Those numbers upset people, right? Which they should if that's happening. But let's go back to the pandemic. The numbers they would give out, people would say those are inflated numbers. It's not that many, that's sick or this and that. The numbers work for whoever and whatever the agenda they're trying to push, right? That's how the numbers work. I think back to my uncle, who's a Vietnam veteran. He fought in Vietnam from 67 to 69. They did a thing called body count. And he said we would get in a firefight, maybe a 10, 15-minute firefight, and then they would go mop up the area, and they would count 2 or 3 deceased soldiers, right? Well, the body count, once it got sent in, would be 25 to 30, because they were using body count. These numbers we keep hearing, I'm not saying there's not a lot, but my question is, how can they count that many? Because if they're coming in here illegally, you've got people coming through the border that they're not stopping, right? So you can't count those. You can estimate it, right? Remember the body count deal. You can estimate it. Are they counting people that's legally crossing the border plus illegals? Because they know if we come out and say, hey, we're having 10,000 a day illegals, that's going to fire a lot of people up, and it should fire you up if that many people's coming across the border. That's every election year. There's always something that needs to be on top of the agenda. The immigration, taxes. A couple years ago, follow the science. Remember all this stuff? When I was growing up, it was always taxes, 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 right? That was what every president was running on. No new taxes, or we're going to tax the rich and leave the poor alone. We're going to tax this and leave the middle class alone. Another thing, this trucker convoy that's heading down there, I made a video yesterday. If you haven't watched it, go watch it. I don't believe there's going to be 700,000 truckers down there because there's not that many independent truck drivers left. Most of them are company drivers. And if they do show up down there, are they just going to focus on the Eagle Pass, Texas, Eagle Pass there? Or are they actually going to spread out and go look at the border and actually show us, hey, the news and media are just showing us Eagle Pass, but a couple miles or half a mile down the road, the border's wide open, right? This stinks to high heaven. Something's not right with all this. What do you honestly think the federal government would come in and fight Texas? I don't know. It would be a bad idea if they did, wouldn't it? That would be a bad idea. But what would that allow the government to do? The federal government? Well, we need to declare martial law. We can't have this uprising going on down here in Texas, right? We're being played from every side here. And it's plain and simple. Should our border be secure? Yes, it should. Are the numbers inflated? I don't know. They may be underreported. They may not be reporting everybody that comes across because they can't count everybody. They may be estimated numbers, right? Remember back to body count. What my uncle would tell me in Vietnam, what they would do. But something just, it doesn't pass the sniff test, if you understand what I'm saying. All of a sudden it's an issue now. You got Abbott gone. He's out of Texas. He's in another country right now. Abbott's a member of the WEF. You got Biden, you know, trying to look tough all of a sudden. He's going to close the border. If they'll reach this bipartisan deal, he'll close the border immediately. It's almost like we let enough in to secure the vote, right? We're hearing stuff that these immigrants are coming across. They're getting handed cell phones. They're getting handed gift cards, bus tickets, plane tickets, you know, and being sent places where they can find housing. We're hearing things that within 4 to 6 months, you know, that they're getting essentially their green card, their social security number, and all this and that. And then you have immigrants that have come here legally who are still pushing to try to get that stuff, right? Trying to get their legal papers. And they've been doing it for years and still haven't been able to do it, right? Because it takes time. These people, when they come across the border, they're getting court dates set up years down the road, right? You're hearing the reason they're getting cell phones is so they'll know when their court date is. It's absolutely mind-boggling, right? What is going on? Who is playing who? You got to understand. You're going to have somebody on this side that's in the government close the border. You're going to have somebody on this side in the government leave the border open. You know, in front of us, they're doing this. They're arguing, fighting. I'm better, you're better. I'm going to do this, you're going to do that. You know, blah, blah, blah. At the end of the day, when they're off the camera, they're back there putting their arms around each other. It's wrestling, pro wrestling. Think of it like that, pro wrestling. You know, smoke and mirrors. It's for the camera. It's what can we do to get you riled up? You know, what? Because if this was a huge issue as they're making it out now, you know, the governor's making, why has it took till now to do this? And why is it just this little area in Eagle Pass? Has he done this all the way across the Texas border? I mean, has he closed it down like that? Or is it just Eagle Pass? Now, let me make this very clear. Yes, the border should be secure. But something is very fishy with this. It does not pass the sniff test at all. He's just doing this in one little area. What about the rest of the border in Texas? What's going on there? If you live in Texas, please comment what the rest of the border. Are they stretching, you know, concertina wire all the way across the border? Or is it just this little area? If you live close to Eagle Pass, Texas, and you watch this video, please go out in video and let us see. Is it open everywhere else, or just that enclosed in just that little section that they keep showing repeatedly on the news? YouTubers are showing, or is it actually closed all the way across Texas with this stuff, or is it just this little area? Because something is not smelling right here. Something is not smelling right here. What is their end game in this? You know, I don't know. And if you're in this trucker convoy and you're going down there, show us around the area. Because we're starting to see videos now of half a mile down the road, the border's wide open. There's gates open, there's no guards there or nothing, right? This is where it becomes important for YouTubers to get that's covering this, that's in the area, to show us what's actually going on. Don't show us what the news is showing us. Show us what's going on around it. Because the news is not going to report that, right? They're trying to get everybody fired up, you know. They're trying to get this side mad, so they clash. What's the end game here? What is their goal? What are they trying to do? Are they trying to set it up where they could possibly upset enough people that they go down there and do something, and then they can call martial law? What's going on here? If you're in the Texas area, or especially the Eagle Pass area of Texas, let me know what is going on with the rest of the border in Texas. I want to hear from you, because you're there. You're front lines, right? The news, mainstream media is not going to tell us everything that's going on. They're just going to show us what gets people fired up. They're going to morph it into however they want to morph it, you know. Let me know your thoughts on this. It's confusing me the more and more I really research this stuff. Let me know your thoughts. Keep your head on a swivel. Be aware of your surroundings all the time. Protect yourself and your family at all times. At that moment, you're the only person that can do it. Stay safe and keep prepping.